So good evening, everyone. This is the 10th day of our Java programming online course. So we have seen about strings last time. Okay, we have seen about strings last time. So we'll quickly revise them within 2 minutes, whatever functions, methods, inbuilt ones we have seen. So strings are immutable, but there is a way to make them mutable. That is by the use of certain classes, which we are going to see today. So your normal strings are immutable. You cannot change them once they have been initialized. You can either use the new keyword or even without that you can do it. So we can concatenate strings using 3 ways. One is concat method, other one is plus operator, and the other one is equals. Other one is for concatenation you have two things, concat and plus operator. And then for comparison you have 3 ways. For comparison you can use equals method and equal to operator and compare to method. And there are a little differences between these comparisons. So equals method will tell you as per true or false if string 1 is equal to string 2 or not. And it should be like both the strings are created without new keyword or both the strings should be created with new keyword. Okay. If you're using equals, you should be careful about that. And equal to operator, that will also, you have to be careful about you're using new or without new, and you can directly compare. And compare to will give the answer as per -1, 0 or 1. Okay, we have seen that. Then substring, we can print out a particular substring. Okay, this is substring display. You want to display a particular substring starting from an index up to the end or for a particular range. Length of string using the dot length function. And then we have different functions like char at, means a particular character at a particular index. Then contains method to check whether the substring is present in the string or not. Get chars is to get the characters of the string. Index of to find the index of a particular character inside the string. Or you can also use it to find the index of a particular character, and you can specify from which index of the main string you want to start searching. Okay, so these we have seen last time. I'm just revising them. Replace is used to replace a particular character by a character or replace a substring by another substring. And not compulsory that the replacement strings have to have the same length. For example, this string has 6 characters and this string has 4 characters. Okay, not necessarily 6 and 6. You can have any number of characters at the time of replacement. Then to lowercase to uppercase. Okay, we have seen this much till then. So these are the few of the methods that we apply on our normal strings. Now, if we want to have mutable strings, if we want to change the value of our string after we have created it, we have to go for Stringbuffer and StringBuilder classes. Now class, you may be knowing, if you don't know, no worries, we'll see that in future. But for now, Stringbuffer class and StringBuilder class, both are used to have mutable strings. How? If you're going for Stringbuffer, it is a class which can modify the strings. Okay, it can modify the strings. And always remember, the string buffer, when you use this, for example, this is the way of using. You must write, in our normal strings, how we used to write string equal to string name something A is equal to new, and then we used to write string, and then we used to give the value. Okay, this was how we used to use string. The only change is instead of string over here and instead of string over here, you have to write string buffer or string builder. Okay, so see the syntax here. Okay, so see the syntax over here. The change is only in the syntax, rest everything is same. Only string buffer should come over here. And this is nothing but the string name. This name can be anything. Okay, not necessarily these two only, it can be anything. Then new and write string buffer and then the value of the string. Okay, so this is how you can use string buffer inside your programs instead of strings. And what the string buffer will do, how it will work internally, it will first of all create an empty buffer. A buffer is nothing but a temporary storage area, a memory location or some space where you can store your string. And how much or what is the capacity of that string? That it is initially 16. Okay, initial capacity by default of the string buffer class, it will give you 16 as the capacity. That means the string can have maximum 16 characters. Okay, I'm saying maximum 16. That means you can have 8 characters, you can store 10 characters, you can store 15 characters, but maximum you can store 16 characters initially in the string buffer. Okay, so the size is fixed initially. Now, if you write only string buffer like this, okay, means for example, you write string buffer, I'm writing short form here, SB, okay, for just to save space. String buffer A is equal to new string buffer, and you close your brackets here. Okay, you're not specifying anything in the bracket. That means this is nothing but you have declared A as a string buffer, and memory will be allocated to A, which is the string buffer string, and the memory will be allocated for 16 characters. Okay, declaration and memory allocation is done, but which value we are going to store inside A, that is not done till now. So the capacity of this A initially will be 16. Okay, but now in your string buffer, if you specify some parameter, parameter means if you specify the string over here in these brackets over here, if you specify the string, for example, welcome. Okay, if you write something like this, string buffer equal to string buffer A equal to new string buffer, and then you specify the value, some string over here. Suppose I write Java as the string. Okay, that means this parameter that you have passed over here is a string. So it will consider something now. Now, if this string Java, you can say, has only 4 characters, but the initial capacity is 16 characters by default. So it will easily accommodate. Java is only 4 characters. But suppose you write a string over here which is exceeding 16 characters. Suppose you are writing good morning as the string. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so some string I have given which is exceeding 16 characters. In my case, it is 18 character string. So now it cannot accommodate directly inside the string buffer variable A, because its capacity that has been defined initially is 16. So this capacity has to increase. The formula that happens automatically, okay, the formula that it uses internally to increase the capacity if the parameter has more than 16 characters is this one, whatever is the old capacity. So currently the old capacity is what? Initial capacity, that is 16 plus 1, 17 into 2. Okay, 16 plus 1 is 17 because I put the brackets over there. So 16 plus 1 will happen first. That is 17 into 2. That is 34. So now the new capacity of the string is 34. Okay, this formula will be applied internally only if your string is more than 16 characters. So now the capacity of my string is what? 34. Okay, now the capacity of my string is 34. Now suppose I have told you that the strings are mutable if you're using string buffer. So now my string is something else, and it is now 40 characters long. Okay, now my string is 40 characters long, but the capacity now is only 34. So my capacity that I'm storing the string is 40, which cannot be accommodated directly. So again, I have to increase my size. Now this old capacity will be 34. Okay, that means current capacity. This is your old capacity or current capacity. And your new capacity will be nothing but your old capacity plus 1, same formula, old capacity plus 1 is 35 into 2. 35 into 2, 70. Okay, so now 70 is the capacity in which my 40 length string can get stored. Now again, I make my string equal to length 80 if my string length is 80. Then again my size has to increase, again same formula, this time 70 plus 1 into 2. Is this clear how the formula gets applied internally, how the size is increasing? Is it clear?
Yes.
What about others?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
okay, okay. Now this was about, we have seen two ways using string buffer. One is we only write the brackets, we don't put the string in over here. Okay, we are only putting the brackets empty. Another way is we are specifying the string over here, whatever it may be. Okay, and the third way is instead of specifying the string, we can also specify the capacity directly. So initial capacity is 16. Okay, but we don't want that initial capacity to be 16. Suppose we want the initial capacity to be 30. Then we will write it like this. We will write SB, and then in the brackets we will specify 30. Okay, so this is the another way. One is don't specify anything in the brackets. Other way, specify the actual string that you want to store inside that string buffer. And the other way, specify the capacity in the bracket. Okay, is this much clear? The three ways?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now if you suppose the initial capacity is 30, okay, you have done it at the declaration time. Now if this capacity is increasing, if it becomes 40, then the same formula you will use. Old capacity will be what here? Can you tell me if the capacity I want to change, if it is 40, I want to store a string of length 40 inside this. What is my old capacity now?
30.
30.
Yes, very good. It is 30, yes. So this 30 is your old capacity. Now to accommodate a string of greater length, you will use the formula 30 plus 1 into 2. That is 31 into 2. Okay, that is 62. Okay, so the same formula you will use, only the initial capacity you have specified. Okay, so keep in mind these three things. Now you might have observed that there are so many ways of doing it. One is without specifying, one is specifying a string, and one is specifying an integer, right? Capacity is in the terms of integer. So some other string we are specifying in the bracket, then some other string. But we can also have the privilege of specifying an integer, and it will work fine. Not that you have to only specify strings or there's another function using which you have to specify capacity. No. In the same function or in the same way, you're directly changing the data type of the parameter that you're passing. Right? Am I right? Once we are passing string and the other time we are passing integer, right? Data type is changing. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is actually called as function overloading. The same function name, but we are using it for different parameters. Okay, means we are overloading the function. The function is same, string buffer, or what you're using is same. But for the different parameters, we are calling the same thing and it will work fine. It will not give you an error. Okay, so when the developer has defined the string buffer, he has specified, he might have used either generics, means uh, that is an object oriented concept, or he might have specified separately for integer or separately for string. Okay, so he has done it for you and you can directly enjoy this functionality. You can first pass a string or you may pass an integer. Okay, so this was about string buffer, how the size is changing, because our string is not constant. Why we are using string buffer? Our strings are changing, so the length of the string may also change, not necessary every time the string length is same. So to handle this changing or varying string length, we are using string buffer. Okay, I hope you understood the need of string buffer. Now important methods that you can use with string buffer. Append. Append is nothing but you can attach some other string at the end of the original string. Then insert. You can insert a string at a particular index. For example, you have index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At index 2, you want to insert something. Then in this insert function, first of all, you'll write 2 for the index, and then you'll write the actual string that you want to insert over there. Okay, so in between somewhere you're inserting. Append is what? Inserting at the end. Insert is to insert somewhere in the middle. And replace is what? You can replace a particular range of characters. For example, start index is 2, end index is 4, then 2, 3, okay, these two. We know that end index will not be considered, only before that. Means 2 and 3. These two characters will get replaced with the string that you specify here. Suppose start index is 6, end index is 10. Then the indices 6, 7, 8, 9 will get replaced by whatever string you specify as the third parameter. Okay, similarly, delete will be used to delete a particular set of characters from your string. So if my start index is 6 and end index is 10, then 6, 7, 8, 9, these characters will get deleted from the string. So as you can see, the string is changing. That is mutable string. That is why it is possible through string buffer. Then reverse is directly used to reverse the string. For example, HAPPY is the string. If you reverse it, YPPAH, that will become the string after you reverse it. Okay, similarly, capacity we can specify only initial capacity here. Till now, what we have seen, initial capacity we can specify. And if we want to know what is the capacity now, means initially capacity we have specified 30, or maybe it was 16 only, we have not changed. After increasing the size of the string, internally the formula was getting applied on its own. And now what is the capacity of the string we want to know? Okay, as per developers, they may want to know what is the capacity of the string at the moment. So for that, you'll use capacity function. So suppose the string buffer, the variable name is a, then you will write a dot capacity, and whatever, and you'll print this out. A dot capacity will print what? The actual current capacity. Suppose initially capacity was 16, then it was not sufficient, so it used the formula, it became suppose 30, then it became 70. But internally it is happening, I do not know, I want to know what is the current capacity. That time I'll write a dot capacity to get the capacity. So are these many functions clear for everyone about string buffer?
Yes.
Others?
Yes, clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was about string buffer. Now there are some more functions, as you can see here. Okay. So length, remember, length will tell you what? It will tell you the number of characters you're storing. But capacity will tell you what is the maximum capacity, right? The length is what? The actual number of characters that you're storing. For example, initial capacity is 16, so capacity will be 16. But suppose I store the string Java, which has 4 characters, then length will return 4. Did you get the difference between length and capacity?
Yes.
Sir, the length function
Yeah.
will also consider the
Yes.
spaces, right?
Yes, yes, spaces also. Okay. And append is to insert at the end. Insert we have seen, reverse we have seen, delete we have seen. Now similarly, delete character at. Can you guess what this will do? We have seen char at function. So delete char at, what it will do, can you guess? Any random guess?
Might delete a letter at an index.
Yes, correct. So you will specify the index over here. Suppose 6, then whatever is the character at index 6, that will get erased or deleted or removed. Okay, so the string will become, its length will reduce by 1. A single character is being deleted. Okay, and by delete function, what we are doing, we can delete a range of characters by specifying start and end. But delete char at, it will delete a particular character at a single index. Then replace, we have seen, ensure capacity. So it will always help you to ensure that a particular capacity is there or not. Then char at we have already seen, index of we have seen. Then last index of. Now index of, what it does, it will, for example, index of, it will start search. For example, this one, we are going to search the index of a, so it will start searching from index 0. Okay, or we may want it to start searching from index 5. Okay, so but from where it will start? From the beginning only. If we don't know, if we want to search character a, it will start searching from 0th index. If we want to start, if we want it to start searching from index 5, it will start from 5th index. But what if we want it to search from the end onwards? All this time we have been starting to search from the beginning. First it will compare with 0th index, then first index, second, third, fourth, and it will go up till the last. What if we want to search from the reverse order? Start searching from n-1 index, then n-2th index, then means second last index, third last index, fourth last index. What if we want it to search from the end coming towards the beginning? So that time you will use this function that is called as last index of. So everything will be same, only it will start searching from the end onwards. Okay, then substring, subsequence, and toString. ToString is used to convert a particular, suppose integer, to a string. Suppose you pass the parameters 1, 2, 3, and you apply toString function on this, it will become within quotes 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is how you can convert a particular maybe integer into a string, or maybe double into a string, using the function toString. Okay, so this I've given you a brief overview of these functions. Now another thing that you need to remember with equals method. So equals method, can you tell me what it does in your own words? Why do we use it? Any?
To check whether that two strings are equal or not.
Yes, correct. So we have just now revised it as well. So equals method, it will help you to check whether the SB1 in this case is equal to SB2 or not. Now I have also mentioned one peculiarity of this. That means suppose SB1 is created using new keyword and SB2 is created using without new keyword. Then it will, even if the strings are equal, it will give you false as the output. Means it will tell that strings are not equal. Okay, because of their memory location where they are stored. Now suppose you use both the strings which are created using new keyword, that is okay. Or without the new keyword, both as the strings are, that is okay. Now another thing that you need to remember with string buffer is, in this case, so here string 1 is this one and string 2 is also this one, but and you're using string buffer to create them. Now when string 1, that is SB1, has the same value and SB2 also has same value, but when you apply the equals method, SB1 equals SB2, it will return false, because when you're using new keyword, SB1 is created at one location, starting from one location, and SB2 is created from some other location onwards. So they are referring different memory locations in the memory. So they are not the same object. So it will return false. Okay, now it will get clear when you see the second example. Here what we have done, SB1 is created using new keyword and SB2 is equal to SB1. Okay, for now, just ignore this append thing. Okay, so here what is I'm doing, SB2 is equal to SB1. Okay, that means SB1 has been created. Okay, this is SB1 and SB2 is also referring to that same object. We know that strings are objects. So SB1 is something and SB2 is pointing to that, or it is referring to that same SB1. In such cases, when you apply equals method on SB1, or if you apply equals method on SB2, that means if you do SB1 dot equals or you do SB2 dot equals, they will refer to the same thing. So it will return true in that case. So remember that though SB1 and SB2 may have same value, it will return false. It will return true only if SB2 is equal to SB1. That means both are referring to the same object. So this equals over here is used to compare whether the same location is used for both the strings or not. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and another interesting fact, if you use some modification on SB1 and then you store it in SB2, for example, SB2 is equal to SB1 dot append high. So what we are doing, we are making SB2 to refer to SB1, but we are making some change in SB1. So we are doing SB1 dot append high. So now SB1 will also get changed and SB2 will also get changed because both of them refer to the same location and they'll get changed. That means mutable because we're using string buffer. So SB1, you're changing it, okay? By the right hand side over here, you're changing it, you're appending something, and then SB2 is also referring to the same thing. Okay, so we are checking the memory location, whether it is same for SB1 or 2 or not. Okay, means whether they are referring to the same object or not. That time it will return true. Okay, so remember that with equals method, what all you can do, if you're using normal strings, both should be created using new keyword or both should be created without new keyword. If you're using string buffer, equals method, how you'll use, both should refer to the same object and you make any change, both will refer to the same object. Change will be for both the strings. And if you are not referring it to the same object, though they may have the same value, they will return false with equals method. Is it clear? Should I repeat anything? You can tell me now. Any doubts, anything you want me to repeat up till now? Yes, no?
No.
No.
Okay. Now, after the session gets over, that is at 6:30, that time you have to practice all these methods, okay? When I send you these PPTs, you practice all these methods, okay? Because showing you, demonstrating everything over here is not actually possible, right? So I'll just show you one demo program about string buffer over here. So see here, I have two string buffers. The name of the buffer, string buffer, can be anything. You can call it string1, string2, or any name, okay? And then I'm directly initializing. So this is the second case wherein we are specifying the string over here. Okay, so now if this length is less than 16, it is okay. If the length is greater than 16 initial capacity, the formula will get applied. Okay, so now see this program here. We are going to display what is the capacity. Okay, what is the capacity? So we'll use the capacity function. So on the string, we'll write string dot, means the name of the string dot capacity. So this we are applying on buff string. Buff means what? What is the value stored in buff? It is tutorials point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Now it returns the current capacity of the string. Okay. So you'll get the current capacity by this thing. And if you go for now what they're doing here, buff is equal to new string, they've made it empty now. Okay, and now if you go for the capacity, it will be what? It will increase the string as per the capacity. Means, for example, here there are 14 characters. Okay, so initial capacity is 16. So 16 plus the 14 characters. And here the capacity is only 1. Okay, so just a minute. Yeah, so here the capacity of, means the length is 1. So it will become 16 plus 1, the string length. Similarly, append character to string. So here you are doing the concatenation, means you're going to print some strings and then hello. So you can print out the string also. So this was just a demonstration. You can try it out later also. Now the difference between string buffer and string builder. Now whatever we have seen for string buffer, it will be same for string builder also. Okay, whatever we have seen for string buffer, it is same for string builder with a few changes. One is the storage area, that is similar. That means if you're using normal strings, they will be created in the string constant pool. And if you're using with the new keyword, string buffers and string builders are always with the new keyword. That time they'll be only in the heap area. And then you're using concatenation. You're going to concatenate, suppose. Here you'll use the concat method for the strings, but for string buffer and string builder, use the append method. So some differences, and we know that strings are immutable, but buffer and builder are mutable. And in case of memory, the string buffer will occupy less memory, but the string builder will occupy, the string buffer and string builder both will occupy less memory. Okay. Then thread safety means it is related to multi-threading concept, which we'll see ahead. So we know that if we use string buffers, the methods are thread safe, means multi-threading will be applicable. It is a concept which will be applicable if we are using string buffer. And if we are using string builder, it will not be applicable. You cannot use multi-threading if you are using string builder. And performance of your normal strings is slow, but that of string buffer is fast, and string builder is even more faster. Okay, so some differences are there that they may ask you in your interview. And when you can use buffer, when to use builder. So if the data is changing frequently, use buffer, string buffer. But if the data is not changing so frequently, use string builder. And another thing is, if you want immutable strings, if you do not want to change the value, use your normal strings. If you want to change the value, either use buffer or builder. Now, which one between buffer or builder? If the data is changing rapidly, frequently, you'll use buffer. If the data is changing less frequently, you'll use builder. And if you want multi-threading, you will use string buffer. If you do not want multi-threading, you'll use string builder. So it is application based. Accordingly, you will use them. So these were some differences. Then again, you have comparison between string and string buffer. So strings are slow and they occupy more memory, whereas string buffer will occupy less memory. And equals method you can use on strings also and string buffers also, but we have seen the difference that equals method in string, either both should be using new keyword or without new keyword, and in string buffer, they are referring to the object, which same object or different object. So equals method will give different output in strings and string buffer. The difference between string buffer and string builder is that your string buffer is using thread safety or multi-threading, but string builder will not be thread safe. Okay, what is thread safe and all that we are seeing in future. And string buffer is less efficient compared to builder, but string builder is more efficient. And which one to choose, I've told you, okay, based on speed, thread safety, depending on how frequently data is changing and all that. So is this much clear to you, string buffer and builder?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Some more replies would be better. Others, what
Yes,
about
clear.
others?
Yes, clear, understood.
Okay, okay, very good. So this was all about strings, okay, and definitely you need to try out maximum methods. And I've already told you whatever you practice on your own, means self-study, whatever you do, you have to upload in this over here. Where is that? Yeah, upload self-practice Java programs over here. Okay, so that I know what all you're practicing, and it will help you increase your score by the end of this course. Okay, so don't forget, only one person, I think Lucky Vishwakarma, has uploaded till now. So you all also, others also need to do it. Okay, it's optional, but it's definitely encouraged. Now let us go for the next concept, that is methods in Java. Okay, so strings is over, now methods. Methods or functions. Now sometimes in a program, if the size grows, writing everything inside the main function. Till now what we are doing, we had some main function, and inside that we were writing everything. Means if we are checking Armstrong number, or we are checking prime number, or swapping, everything we are doing inside that same main function. But for big programs, it is not advisable. One is because there are certain advantages if you use methods. For example, all the logically related functions will be together. For example, if you want to, if you are using bubble sort program, for example, means you're sorting the numbers or the elements, then the conditions when you will sort will be in one function, and the actual logic of swapping the elements will be in some other function. Another example I can give you is, you are accepting all the data in the main function, like enter number 1, enter number 2, and all what you accept you are passing to some function. Suppose you enter 2 and 3, then one function will calculate 2 plus 3. Then some other function will calculate 2 minus 3. Some other function will calculate 2 into 3. I'll give you another example. If for the same values, suppose for the numbers 2 and 3, you want to calculate factorial. Okay, then you'll calculate using factorial function, suppose. Then for the same values, you want to calculate, maybe you want to find whether they are prime numbers or not. So you'll use another function to check that. Writing everything in the main function is not readable. Okay, and another advantage is, if you want to, suppose for example, at line number 1, you are going to swap two numbers. Then at line number 2, you will write some code. At line number 3, you will again write some code. At line number 4, you will again write some code. Then you realize that again you want to perform some swapping operation. Then again you will write that temp equal to A equal to B equal to temp. So at line number 1 also you're writing the same statements. At line number 5 also you're writing the same statements. Why not put these statements inside a function and just call that function at line number 1, call it over here, and call the same function over here, so that you have written the code once only, and you will call that same code for the different parameters at different positions in your program, in the same program or different program. So you don't have to, suppose in your function there are 100 lines, then instead of writing 100 lines here, again the 100 lines here, it is best to write the 100 lines only once and call those same lines again and again, maybe for same parameter or different parameter. Then another advantage is, it will become easy to debug. Means if you know that only line number 5 is giving you a problem, means there's a problem in that function. So you'll come to know where exactly the problem is. If you write the 100 lines here and the 100 lines here also, you'll have to carefully check at which line number exactly you're getting the error, right? So this is how people usually debug their program. So at line number 5, they'll understand that in this function there is a problem. Then they'll go inside that function and then they'll check that function. Maybe that function, inside that function, you're calling some other function, and maybe that is giving an error. So they'll exactly come to know, or it will become easier to debug or eliminate the errors from your program. So have you understood these few advantages of functions?
Yes, understood.
Okay. So I hope you all remember functions that you have studied in Python. The same concept, but syntax and some things are different. So here another example is written, calculating average of a number 5 times. Okay, so if you want to calculate average 5 times, then first of all we'll use a loop, and then if we want to apply that loop again and again, we'll put that loop inside a function. Okay, so some examples you'll see, then the idea will become clearer for you. So syntax is, you must specify the data type. Okay, just a minute, just 1 minute, wait. Okay, so syntax is data type, the name of the function, brackets, and your curly brackets, and the body of the function. For example, if you want to calculate sum of two numbers, okay, and you're using a function for that, then those two numbers have to be specified over here as in parameters. So what actually happens is, you'll have to first define your function for calculating the sum of two numbers, and then the syntax is, returning is an optional. Okay, if you want to return the sum or not, you can directly print out the sum here also. Means whatever is a plus b, you can directly print out inside the function, or maybe you'll return the value whatever is the sum to your calling part. Okay, so I'm assuming that you know something, so I'm taking it a little quick. So you have to always specify the data type over here. Okay, and here there is no def keyword or anything as in Python. Here you have to specify data type. For example, if you are returning C, which is a plus b, for example 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 is an integer, so I'm storing it in int C. Int C will hold 5, so that value 5 you're returning, means that variable name you have to specify, return C. So wherever you have called this function, or wherever you have told that I want this function, there that value 5 will get returned. So whenever you define your function, it will not execute directly. It will get executed only if you call that function. For example, you have line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at the fifth line, you realized you want this function. So here you will write my sum, and you will pass 2 and 3. So this 2 will get stored in A over here, and this 3 will get stored in B over here. Okay, so 2 and 3. So 2 plus 3, 5. 5 will get returned. Where it will get returned? At this line number. So you can say that the value of this function call, this is called as function call, and this whole thing is called as function definition. So at this function call, the value 5 will come. So if you want to access that value 5, you can store it in another variable. So how we'll do that? You'll say suppose result. So what happens? At the right hand side, first of all, the function will get called. So the control, means the sequence, will jump from here to wherever you have defined your function. Somewhere above, maybe you have defined your function. So my sum 2 comma 3. So this one, what will happen? 2 and 3 will get passed to A and B. Okay, so A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3. Then you do 2 plus 3, it will get stored in C, and you're returning C. This C will come over here. C is equal to 5. So indirectly you can say the value of this function call is 5. Okay, so I'm writing 5 here for your convenience. And this 5 will get stored in result variable inside the main. Okay, this whole thing is inside the main function. And then you can print out the value of result variable. Okay, so one thing is like this, you can print out the value of result, or you can directly print out my sum. That means either you do it like this, and then you will print result. Okay, or what you will do, you will write system.out.println, and then you will directly write my sum 2 comma 3. Okay, so instead of printing result, I'm going to print, means I'm going to specify the function call inside this print statement. So whatever value is getting returned will come in place of my sum, that is 5, and 5 will get printed. Is this clear?
Yes.
What about others?
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Bhaiya,
Yes.
if we try to print the value of C, like after performing the function, calling the function, the value C, matlab A plus B, the value is stored in C variable, right? So if we try to print the C, will it show error or it will show the same output?
So you want to print C inside your main function over here.
Yes, yes, in the system.out.println.
So printing C inside the function over here, instead of return, you can also write print inside this function. There C, if you access or if you print, it's okay, no error. But here outside the function, inside the main, if you try to print C, C is unknown to the main function. So actually what is happening, I'll show you over here. So actually you have a function somewhere over here. Suppose my sum function is over here. You have defined it. Means you have written int my sum. Then you have specified the parameters. These are called parameters A and B. And then you have defined your function, whatever. And then somewhere below you have your main function. And here also int will be there. And here you have to call the mysum function. So here you will call mysum. Okay. So, and here you're using the C variable. So the C variable is not inside the main. So if you want to access C from inside the main function, it will give you error. Over here, if you try to print C, it will give you error. But here the C is known because here you are using that C. So here you can print C, no error. So this is called as C is local to some function, my sum function. C is the local variable of my sum function, which is not known to any other function. But suppose over here, outside both the functions I write int a equal to 12. So a is written outside my sum function and a is written outside main function. So this a is called as global variable for the particular program. So a will be known to sum function also and main function also. So inside main, if you print a, no error. Inside sum, if you print a, no error. And over here, if you make a change for a, for example, here I write a equal to 13. And the a, if I access in main, then inside main also a will become 13. Why? Because any change made to a will be reflected for each and every function throughout your program. So are these things clear?
Yes.
Others? Yes, no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Can you perform it on ID?
Okay. So here, as you can see, you have your main method. Okay, this much is your main. And here you have your function. Okay, here int and this much is your function. So inside your class, whatever is the name of the class, you have two things. You have one user defined function, you have defined it. And here you have your main function, which is compulsory for every program. So as you can see here, a is equal to 5, b is equal to 7, and here another c variable is there. And then I am going to create, okay, 1 minute, I want to just check something. I'll just run this program. Okay, so here this is one function, as I said. Now, whenever you need this function, you need to call that function. Okay, now just for now, remember that I have to give one static keyword also here. Why? I'll tell you in a few moments. So write a static keyword also over here. Now, C is a variable in which I'm going to store whatever value is returned by this logic function. Logic is the name of the function, and it is going to return Z value. Means whatever is the value of Z variable, Z is a value or a variable inside this logic function. Okay, it is the variable which is local to logic function. And I'm going to store that value, whatever is returned from the function call inside C variable. Okay, and then I'm going to print C over here. Okay, so for now I'll remove whatever is not wanted. Okay, so simple, two variables are there. I'm going to pass them to my function. Whatever value is returned by my function is stored in C, and I'm going to write it, I'm going to print it out over here. Okay, so C is a local variable for main, and Z is a local variable for logic function. So let us run this much and see. Now it is returning 5 and 7. Sorry, it is returning 60 because I changed the program a little. So why it is returning, how it is returning, we'll see that. So whenever this function is called, A is 5, B is 7. So 5 and 7 will get passed and get stored in X and Y respectively. So now X is equal to the whatever is the value of A. Okay, from left to right, one by one they are passed. So A is written first. So A ka value will go in X. Then you have B. So B value will go in Y. So left to right, one by one the values get passed. So now X is currently the value of A. So value of A is what here? 5. And Y is equal to the value of B, that is 7. Now Z is a local variable for logic function. If X is greater than Y, so if 5 is greater than 7, false. So if is not satisfied, else part I'm going to go inside. So what I'm doing, X plus Y, that means 5 plus 7 is 12, and 12 into brackets, so this will get solved first, 5 plus 7, 12. 12 into 5, 60. So now Z is equal to 60. Z is equal to what? 60. Okay, so if else has been dealt with. You have finished solving the if else part. Okay, and then I'm going to return Z. So whatever is Z is nothing but 60. That is going to come over here, and that 60 will get stored in C variable, and I'm printing C, that is 60. So that is why output was coming as 60. Is it clear how the flow of the program is?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Now, what if is satisfied? That means suppose X is 7 and Y is 5. Then if is satisfied, then Z will be the addition. 5 plus 7, that is 12, and 12 will get returned. Okay, so that you know it. Then another thing that you need to see over here is the use of static keyword. Now, why I had told you to specify static here is, now remember in Java, this feature is there, this property is there, that if you mention static over here for the name of the function, int and function name is compulsory. But if you specify static also, then you can call the function in this manner, directly specifying the name of the function, and then you can do whatever you want. This is possible, this line number. But if you don't write static over here, then you cannot see, you're getting an error over here. You cannot do it like this. What you have to do, first of all, you have to create an object of this class. What is the class name? JT10 methods. This is the name of the class. It can be anything. The name of the class can be anything. So this class ka object you have to create. The way of doing that is class name obj, or anything you can write here, obj, object, my object, anything you can write, equal to new class. So we have seen this type of syntax, right? For example, we used to write string a equal to new, then string, and then brackets. So same thing, but instead of string is also a class, I've told you, and a is a string object. Similarly, this is a class and its object name is obj. Okay, so similarly, how you used to do for string, you have to do for class now, because string is also a class. Just a minute. And you're creating an object of your class. Okay, so we have created the object of our class. This class is which we are using in a program. Okay, so now using this object, you have to call the function logic. Okay, if you do not specify static over here, first of all, you have to create the object of this class and then call the function using this object. How you'll do it? Object name. What is the name of the object? Here it is obj. So I have to use obj here also, obj dot function name. So now the value that is 60 will come in place of this, and 60 will get stored in C, and you can print the value of C. So let us run this also so that you understand that this is the way of doing it. So output should be same, right? It will be 60 only. Yes, it is 60. So this is the use of static. So what it actually means is, without creating object, you can call the function if you use static, right? If you use static without creating the object of this JT class, you can call the functions of this class. Okay, so it means that the same function will be shared by all the objects. For example, this is suppose object 1 I have created. Okay, now I can create another object, suppose object 2, and using object 2 also I'll have another variable d. Same thing I have to do, obj2 dot logic, and I can specify the parameters. Suppose I'll specify the values directly, for example 1, 3. And as you can see, if you specify values, it will also kind of suggest you this x colon, can you see it? X colon, y colon, this has come automatically. So it is indirectly hinting that this 1 will get stored in x, and this y will get stored in, this 3 will get stored in y. Okay, this has come automatically, and it is what you say, like it is giving me the like it is indicating me what will happen when which parameter will go where. Okay, this is not a part of the code. Okay, if I remove this 1, see this y went off. If I remove 3, that x will go automatically. Okay, so it is not a code. It is just highlighting. Means it is giving me some tips what will happen actually. It is not the code that is coming there. Okay, so this 1 and 3 will go there. So now for object 2, I'll print it is getting stored in D, right? In D, I'm going to store the value. So I'm printing D over here. So 1 and 3. So x is 1, y is 3. So 1 greater than 3 false. So it will happen 1 into 3, 1 plus 3 is what? 3. 3 into 5, 15. So 15 should get displayed. Oh, 20 is getting displayed. Let me see it again.
It's 3 plus 1, 4.
Okay, I did that. Okay. I did 1 into 3. Yeah. So it is 3 plus 1, 4 into 5. That is 20. Okay. So that was about static. Okay. Now another thing about static is, if you are using static, whatever you call the function, it is common for all the objects. Okay. Means, for example, if I write over here, I'm making a is equal to 12 inside my function, or let me write it over here. Okay, I'm writing it here. So a is equal to 12. And this 12, if I suppose change it using object 1, okay, means object 1 will change the value of a, suppose, and it becomes suppose 13 due to calling this one for object 1. Suppose object 1, because of that my a value will be changing to suppose 13, then that value 13 will be for object 2 also. In object 2, the value of a will also be 13. So I'll show you an example of that. Okay, means how it will work. Okay, so this was about methods. So till here, have you understood static and without static and creating object, the flow of the function? Have you understood it?
Yes.
Okay, now you can also specify default arguments. Does anyone know what are default arguments? Okay, so it means that to the extreme right, you can specify some values over here directly. Okay. So for example, let me close this one and this. Just a minute. Okay, so default values are, you can directly specify the default parameters over here. For example, if I write 12 over here, and here I pass only one parameter. It should work. Why isn't it working? Right. Last time when I executed, it was working. Okay, I'll show that to you a little later. For now, let us go for the next concept. Maybe something I have to comment over here or something. I'll tell you that. Now see here, method overriding. So I have created one function with the name foo. Okay, and I'm passing initially one parameter. Then for the same function, I'm passing two parameters and I've defined it in some different way. And for the same function, I'm passing three parameters and I've defined it in some different way. Okay, so when you're going to call this particular function, which definition or which one will get executed? Okay, so that completely depends on how you're passing the parameters. Okay, for example, the name of the function and I'm not going to pass any parameter. So it will select this particular definition. Where is that? The definition part without any parameter. Suppose I remove it over here. Okay, so this is without any definition. So I cannot use this here. Okay, so this particular function has been defined without its definition. Here it has been defined without definition. Okay, so okay, this function has one parameter. This has no parameter. I was finding for this one. This one has no parameter. This one has one parameter. This one has two. This one has three parameters. So first time when I call without passing any parameter, it will search which is the matching function definition. Here there are no parameters mentioned. So it will select this particular function definition. So this one will get printed. So I'll show you that. Let me comment these two and I'll print this. So if I'm not passing any parameter, it will select this particular definition and it is printing this one only. I'll execute this one. Okay, so this one. Suppose I pass one parameter and call it like this. Then it will select the definition wherein there is only one parameter here. Okay, and it will print. Now to verify this, I'm also returning some value 98. So what I'll do, I will have an integer here, suppose x equal to, or let me take k equal to this one. So now if we want to check whether this definition, whether this definition is getting selected, then the value 98 is being returned, right? So that will get stored in k. Am I right? The value 98 will get stored in k. Is it correct? Yes, no? Say I'm selecting this function definition and I'm executing it. So what this function is doing, it is going to return the value 98 also. First of all, it will print this and it will return the value 98. So this value 98 will get stored in k. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
So that value of k, when I print out k, the value should be 98. So I'll write here k is equal to. Okay, so k is equal to 98 should get printed. That will certify that this particular function definition was only getting selected. So as you can see, first of all, value a, what I was passing 3000. That is why here good morning 3000 and this was getting printed. And then 98 is returned, which will get stored in k. So we can say that yes, that particular function was getting selected because no other function is returning 98. See, this one with 2 parameters, it is not returning 98. Only this one is returning 98. So we can say that yes, that was getting selected. Similarly, for 3 parameters or for 2 parameters, let us check. So it will select these two. So it will print. I hope you understood this. Is it clear? Depending on how many parameters you pass.
Yes.
Yes, and if it finds the match in the definition, it will select that definition. Okay. And see, now I was talking about this only, about static thing. Let me copy this. So I have a function here called as change. Okay, and I'm passing one value in that. And I have another function called as void, means it will not return anything. That time we write void if there is no return. And here I'm not going to pass any parameter. This is also possible. And I'm going to print, suppose fun function. Okay, and inside my main, I'm going to use static. Then I will call this function directly. I can call it. So I have a variable x and I can call this function change over here. And then I will print the value of x. And since I have to pass a parameter also, it is highlighting. Suppose I pass 5. Okay, so a is equal to 5. And this should, suppose I also print here a is equal to a. And here I'm getting provided void. Can you tell me why am I getting this error? It is telling me make change return int. Okay, so and it is telling me to return a. Okay, so it was giving me a suggestion actually. So suppose, okay, I tell, because why it was telling me, because here whatever value is returned, I'm storing in x. Suppose I do not write return a, then what value will get stored in x? Right? So that is why it is telling me, if I use like this, x equal to something, means this function has to return some value and that will get stored in x. So if we want some value to come here, it has to be returned by the function. So I must return a value. That is why it was giving the error. Okay. So now it will display a over here and it will print out here. So this was a simple thing. Using static, I can directly call my function. So let me run it. So a is equal to 98 is getting displayed. And then by this, and I'm returning a. And then a will get the value of a will get stored in x, and I'm printing x. That is 98. Now, if I create objects for this, okay, I'll show that to you in the next lecture because it's already time up. If you, otherwise it will exceed because it is time consuming. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now and put your attendance in the chat box.
Sir, how do we create a function that returns a formatted string?
Okay, so if you want to return a string, then you can see one thing, you can write the string in a variable and return that variable, or you can directly return the variable, return the string here, like for example, hello plus world. Okay, and since you're returning a string, this int is not the return type, so we can change it to string. Okay, so a string is being returned, so the return type is string. And this string which is returned is nothing but, I'm writing multi-word string. So hello world has to be returned, and we have to store it in a variable which also should be a string. I cannot have an integer variable here. So suppose I write string over here. So I'm passing a parameter 5. Okay, just simply I'm passing. But the main thing is it will print a is equal to 5, and it will return hello world, which I'm going to store in x. So if I print x, hello world should get displayed. Let us run it. So as you can see, a is what? 98. So I have passed a equal to 5. Over here, what I've done, a is equal to 5. 5 I have passed, so a will become 5. But that same a I am updating to 98. That is why it will print 98, right? Because this a and this a is same. And hello world is whatever is getting returned. So instead of this, you can also try something like this. Like here, you can have another variable, suppose res, and you can, if you want, you can try. So you cannot return the, what you say, if you use, for example, in printf, how we use something and then we write comma percent and the variable name. So such strings you can't pass. Okay, so this type of formatting is not allowed, but like this normal plus minus, or you can also have a plus and a you can write here. Okay, so a will be what? 98, which will get converted into string, right? We have seen this. So hello world 98 should get displayed. So hello world 98 is getting displayed. You can also write, for example, a plus 2. So I'm putting in brackets. So 98 plus 2 will happen, that is 100. So hello world 100 should get displayed. As you can see, if I don't put the brackets, then a is 98 and 2, so 982 it will become. Okay, and when I run this, hello world 982. Okay, so you can see that. Any other doubts? Anyone else also can ask?
Sir, assignment to question 1.
Okay, assignment 2, question 1. What will be the value of, what will be the result of the following expression? Okay, so this is one question and this is the second question. So you have to simply apply your operator precedence and all that. So here division, multiplication, division all have same precedence. So you can go from left to right. Okay, so first let me execute it and show you. So this is which practice set, chapter 2. So this is, yes, someone is saying something.
Yes, questions like in assignment 2, do we have to write in a page or just simply type in the code editor, or
Yeah, you
without?
can simply type it also and like try to solve it here like step by step. Like you can write first, like you can write something like this. First, a is equal to 12. Then next, you can write something like the second, a will become 13 after some operation. Like some anything what you understand, you can write here as a comment, and then you can upload. Like something whatever you have understood. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So coming back to that doubt. So it is float. A is equal to 7 divided by 4 multiplied by 9 divided by 2. And then I will print A. So 4.0. So now let us see how it is coming. So since all have same precedence, 7 divided by 4, 4 ones are 4, 4 2s are 8, so 1. Okay, you'll means quotient it will give you 1, and then you will multiply it with 9. Okay, if the precedence is same, like all have same priority, then from left to right you go. So you'll divide this first, which is giving me 1. Then this one you will apply with 9. These two you'll consider, which will give you 9. And then 9 divided by 2 is actually 4.5. Okay, but when you're displaying it, it will give you, since it is integer divided by integer, it is giving you an integer. So if I write 2.0 here, that time it means any one, either numerator or denominator should be float. If you're doing integer divided by integer, then whatever is stored in A will be instead of 4.0, it will get stored as 4. And since A is float, it is displaying 4.0. So that 0.5 is getting ignored. But if it happens like this, if it is 2.0, okay, if it is 2.0, or you can do another thing, you can write float over here. Okay, so whatever answer is there is 4.0, and that will be converted, that will be kept as 4. Just a minute. So the main intention was that integer divided by integer is giving you the integer. So if you want to divide it by, suppose you want to get the float answer, then 9 divided by 2.0, and the array is double it is. So we know that f we must specify, right, for float. Okay, so in the previous also,
Yes.
if you want to do it, that f you have to specify. Otherwise, if you write only 2.0, then a should be a double. Okay, then the error will go. But you are specifying float over here. So this 2.0 f you have to mention. Otherwise, directly it will consider double, you'll get error. So if this is float, a is a float, then 2.0 f. And now when you run this, it should return 4.5, as you can see. So anyone, either numerator or denominator, should be float. Only then the answer will be float. Otherwise, you'll get the integer part. Is it clear? First question.
Yes.
Okay. Any other question or any other doubt? If not,
Excuse me.
yes.
How the precedence of multiplication and division are the same?
Because as per that table which I've given, I think this table. See, multiplication, division, and your modulus, that is remainder operator, all of them are at the priority level 4. So 1 means highest priority. All these will be solved first. Then your plus plus minus minus, and then your not operation and all that, plus minus, and then your means unary, means it is not a plus b ka plus. This plus stands for, or this minus stands for single operator, like minus a plus a. It doesn't stand for a plus b. This is unary plus, means on a single data or a single variable you're applying plus minus, means positive way, negative way. And here this plus minus means the between two values, between a plus a and b. That means this stands for a plus b, that plus. So it is called binary plus. Okay, otherwise you may think here also plus minus, here also plus minus. No, this is unary plus minus, means on a single value. This is binary plus minus, means a plus b or c minus d, something like that. So if you are going for multiplication division in the same expression, like we saw just now, then they all have same priority or precedence. That time you must go from left to right. So that means from left to right, when you go solving, whatever comes first you will solve. So you have division, multiplication, division. So when you go from left to right, first you're getting this division, solve it. So you'll get 1. Then you are getting, again you go from left to right, you're getting multiplication, solve it, 9. Then you're getting division, solve it, 4.5. Okay, so this you have to follow like this, left to right, whichever you get first, you have to solve if the precedence is same. So these videos which I have provided, these 4 recorded videos, I think they're sufficient to understand this. Have you seen these videos? I don't think so. So no problem, you can see them and then you can try solving, okay, if you're finding any difficulty, or if you want to ask me directly also you can ask. Is this doubt clear? How it
Yes. Assignment 2, question number 4.
Okay. So thank you for asking these doubts. So b is equal to 15. So I'll solve it over here. B is initially 15. Then I'm doing b mod equal to 3. Means indirectly I want to say b is equal to b mod 3. Okay. So now b over you have to start whenever you have equal and some other operation. Remember that equal to has least precedence, as you can see here. This plus equal to or only equal to, it has lowest priority. Means what? First you will solve. Where is it gone? First you will solve the other operations. That is why whatever is on the right hand side gets solved first automatically. Means the compiler will solve right hand side first because this equal to has least priority. So whoever has higher priority are solved first, and last you have the equal to, then it will get stored in B. So B mod 3 is nothing but B value is what? 15. So 15 mod 3. 3 5s are 15, remainder is 0. So B is equal to 0. So at line number 1, the value of B is 15. At line number 2, the value of B is 0. Then what is the line number 3? B left shift 2. So B left shift equal to 2. Means indirectly I want to say B is equal to B left shift 2. Okay, and now the value of B is what now? It is 0. So it is nothing but 0 left shift 2. So zeros, if you shift towards the left, like for example, 0 in binary is 0 0 0 0. You're going to shift it by one place left. So it will become like this, left shift once. And since left shift 2 I've written, means twice you have to shift it left, means this is this thing. And so everything is 0 only. So the value of B finally is 0 only. Is it clear?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other doubts? Anyone else can also ask. If no doubts, you can leave the meeting after putting your attendance. Thank you.
Thank you for lecture.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome.